aren't you? Alright, so what we're doing here, we're doing Leaderboard for November. We're going to do what we do every month, which is talk through all the stuff that happened in the previous month before we publish a leaderboard.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it in a way, hopefully, which is transparent, so we can send it out to all of our customers so they can see how we make decisions that we make. And hopefully they'll find this interesting.
Yeah.
That's the plan, right? So we're going to have a go with cameras here and see what happens.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so for this month, we've got quite a few new changes. So from a high level, we've got a new site, Kemsley, which is based in Kent. That's Pivot Power's EDF site, which has participated for its first full month in the market, so it's been added this month. We've got.
When did it come online? Was it like?
It was
on
in
the
the
first,
last. It was in the middle of last month, October.
Okay.
So we didn't add it in the leaderboard for that month because obviously it hadn't participated in the market for a full month.
Yeah.
We've got dynamic containment, low and high, added as separate columns to the leaderboard now. Dynamic containment high came online 4th of November.
Yeah.
So now that we've got that added, you can see on the leaderboard how much people are making in both services.
Cool.
We've made a few internal changes to our asset database regarding the energy capacity on some of us, some of the sites that we've had.
Yeah, this is because so our asset database has got the megawatts to megawatt hours for all assets, and we had a couple of assets wrong on megawatt hours.
Yeah.
Only a little bit wrong.
Only a little bit wrong, but
now we're normalising on energy capacity as well.
It does
so
actually matter now.
So it becomes a lot more important.
Cool. Makes sense.
And then one of the bigger tasks this month was mapping assets to their monthly FFR market IDs. Obviously, a lot of the assets which had participated in the service this month hadn't for a lot of time because they'd all just been in dynamic containment. So that was one of the bigger tasks this month.
Because some assets have moved optimized. I guess we haven't had to do this for a while because no one's really been in monthly FFR.
Yeah, so that's the bigger reason.
Yeah.
But also, there has been a few cases of optimizers changing for assets, which has led to different IDs being used.
Cool. Yeah.
We've some changes to the script. So one of the big tasks that we also have to do every month, especially with the increased volatility in wholesale markets and more people participating in the markets, is adding wholesale revenues to non-BM assets. So
we already did this, right? We've always done this.
We've always done this.
Yeah.
So the changes that we've made are to make it more efficient and easier, because there was a lot more wholesale activity.
Okay.
So when we go through the strategy in a sec, I'll show you, and we can see that a lot of, basically every day, assets are now participating in wholesale markets, which is really cool to see.
But this is only, we talked about this, right? Non-BM assets are only a small number of the assets. So basically, most assets now are BM registered.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's like 4, 5, 6, something like that aren't.
Yeah.
And so it's only a small subset of all the assets that we have to do these estimations for.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then alongside that, we made some changes so that those non-BM assets will now have some estimated BSUOS and DSUOS numbers that go alongside them. And then for Tim, one of the big changes that we've made is to make it easier for him to upload on the platform. Is we've made changes so now that the megawatt hour general normalization that we do is a lot more easier to put on the product side of things.
Cool. Yeah.
Sounds good.
So from a high level, the general strategies taken throughout the month. So the big one, as we mentioned already, was monthly FFR. We've got a lot of sites which were in the monthly FFR for all 6 ether blocks. Some of them getting really good prices.
I guess probably for everybody, if you haven't noticed already, there was loads of money in monthly FFR this month for the first time ever.
Yeah, like to the tune of like £25, £30 per megawatt per hour.
Yeah. I mean, first time ever. I mean, first time in this realm, this new world that we live in.
Yeah. And actually, when we go forward and look at some of the revenues, it's some really interesting, especially when we normalise by energy capacity, because some of the sites got some really good clearing prices in FFR, or bid prices in FFR.
Cool.
Another thing which was quite interesting to look at this month was, as I mentioned, dynamic containment low and high. So dynamic containment high launched on 4th of November. It was interesting to see a lot of operators get in the latter half of the month. There was actually only a few assets that started stacking both services at straight away in the early part of the month.
Why is that?
So I think there's two things that really influence it here. There's one which is that DCH requirements are considerably lower than DCL. So you've got an asymmetric requirement from the ESO.
So not everybody with low contracts can get high contracts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that there seems to be a relatively slow uptake, it's fair to say. of people bidding symmetrically anyway. So on the first day, we only saw an Esco and Harmony and Tesla bidding in.
Yeah, all right.
And so we had that. We had people getting into providing symmetric DC services in the end of the month. And another cool thing to see was that a lot of people were stacking wholesale. So obviously with the new ETH block procurement changes, it provided a lot of opportunity for people to pull out of DC and then do some wholesale trading.
Yeah. And this is what we talk about when we say the merchant ancillary hybrid strategy.
Yeah, basically.
Awesome.
It's pretty cool. Everything is getting way more complicated.
Yeah, so that's I think that's one of the most interesting parts about it. This leaderboard in particular was probably the first one in a long time where people have taken very different strategies.
It's interesting, I think, given we've seen so many changes in DC, pricing, different markets, etc. The revenues haven't changed that much. It's still looking at that £17 per megawatt per hour, that 12k a month line.
Yeah.
Things aren't looking too different from there.
With regards to the amount they're earning, I think actually if we look at the market split for things, I think we notice a difference this month. So we can look at that.
Just another really high month.
Yeah.
Remember when we got together in summer finished, September was pretty crazy, and then everyone, there was talk of that being like a one-off, and it's like every month we're printing like higher numbers.
I think a lot of people thought after DC fell from 17 prices, the amount of people earning would drop, but it seems to just keep going up and staying at that level, which is cool.
It's incredible.
It's a great day to be a battery owner.
Yeah, it is.
And so this is just an overview of some of the non-BM assets which wholesale revenues were attributed to. We have two of SemCorp assets here, and then we have Port of Tilbury and Greenfield Road.
Yeah.
And Lockleys as well, which I've also added revenues for. And then we've got, I guess, a few of the more harder things to figure out this month. So we've got a few of the sites which looking or finding any market activity for has been quite hard, and there's nothing that's transparent. So those two are Rosecote and Video Mill. And then we also have Neverden and Blackburn Meadows, who EFR contracts are, from what we can see on what visibility there is of those contracts, have seemed to have ended, but there is no visibility of them or sites of their size entering the market.
Cool.
So this is estimated contract ending dates from that initial publication of results from the ESO.
Yeah, which
so
date back to around 2017, I think.
So it's quite a long time.
So we need to find out when.
Either
what are the EFRs like?
What are they doing, or is their contract still going on?
You'd think maybe at the end of the EFR contract they would have skipped some maintenance. I don't know, but you'd think there'd be in something.
Maybe
that's meant
to be fair, a lot of them are half-hour duration sites, so they could be looking at the possibility of, I don't know, adding additional.
Yeah, it feels odd that they'd both be out. I would think they're both in the EFR still, personally.
So I've just attributed EFR revenues to them for an additional
We
month.
should find out this month.
But I have been looking for them.
By the way, Rosecote and Video Mill. So Rosecote, that's a Centrica asset, close to my heart, of course. But they had some unavailability, didn't they, recently? So is that just...
they've had a bit of unavailability for the past couple of months, I think it's fair to say. A bit spotty in terms of its capacity. But yeah, I assume it's a continuation of that.
And then another kind of more... I think everything's fine with it, but it's quite cool to see Thurcroft. They actually got a contract for not their full rated power, so 20 out of 35 of their rated power, and then continually wholesale traded throughout the month whilst providing monthly FFR for the whole month. So I just thought that's pretty cool.
That's
so
really cool.
That in.
And
that was probably the most unique asset.
Who's Thurcroft with? Obviously, it's Question House, isn't it? I think.
Thurcroft is EDF. No, sorry, Flextricity. Yeah. Did they also have DC participation as well for any of those days?
No, they're just in monthly FFR. They've got 6 ETH blocks contracted in monthly FFR.
Okay, so they've split their site into a 35-20 split.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
35-20. So a 55 megawatt site.
30-20.
30-20.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Oh, nice. And so Leaderboard's going up tonight. I think we're doing it we've got Leaderboard going up, and we're doing our new DC pages. We've got a big upgrade to the platform at the same time. So hopefully when everybody watches this or sees it, they're going to see some new stuff in various places on the platform, which is nice. If it all goes well, and if Tim can get it all online at midnight tonight. Anything else you want to talk about before we close? Well, actually, one more thing. I'm talking too much, but
Okay.
if anybody watching this has any feedback, thinks we should do more of this, or thinks it's completely useless and we shouldn't do it, then please just let us know. Because we've got no idea how this is going to go.
We're just trying.
Yeah. And I think another thing, and a lot of people do give us feedback, we're always open to hearing feedback about the leaderboard and anything on there and what improvements can be made, especially with like how we rank things and anything. We're always open to suggestions. So,
well, what I really liked about this discussion is, if anybody watches it, which I assume someone will watch it, we've actually managed to talk through some of the issues with normalising on pounds per megawatt hour, which and there's issues with normalising on pounds per megawatt hour, capex, however you do it. There's context, as you said, and I think it's been useful to talk through that.
Yeah, and I think also hopefully if people are watching this, they can access the leaderboard. I think one of the great things at the moment is just the amount of revenues that Bez Assets are earning, which is really cool and really nice to see.
Doesn't matter what you normalise.
Yeah,
it's going good.
No matter what you normalise on, everyone's earning a lot of money at the moment, which is really nice for everyone to see.
And December's going to be awesome as well.
Yeah,
we already know that. Cool. Let's leave it there.
All right. Cool.
Thanks, Imrith, for taking us through it.
No worries.
Cheers.